He told me. It will kill me. Fame, fortune, influence. The life we see on our screens. The dream we are sold. I was still empty. Justin Bieber. I've achieved everything I ever wanted, and it left me utterly alone. Will Smith. We chase the lives they have. But have you ever stopped to ask if this is the life you truly want? This is the story of the illusion of success. Today, we are uncovering their teachings, their warnings, and their desperate search for something real. We'll hear from Jim Carrey, Brad Pitt, and Lady Gaga. We will look at the quiet path of Keanu Reeves. And we will uncover the tragic, final warnings from icons like Chester Bennington and Avicii. Stay, because this isn't about their lives. It's about ours. I think everybody should get rich and famous and do everything they ever dreamed of, so they can see that it's not the answer. These words are from a man who reached the absolute pinnacle of comedy. Jim Carrey wasn't just a star, he was a phenomenon. But behind the billion-dollar smile, a crushing depression was taking hold. The characters were loud, but the man was silent. The success was immense, but the emptiness was bigger. He had to turn inward, exploring spirituality, art, and the very nature of the self. He discovered that the persona he had built, the Jim Carrey the world loved, was a cage. What he found wasn't more applause. It was presence. Stillness. Something no award could ever give. So, Carrey's story teaches us about the emptiness behind the mask of comedy. But what if the mask isn't comedy? What if it's the crushing weight of perfection? This is Will Smith's prison. He crafted an image of unstoppable charisma. From the Fresh Prince to a global blockbuster king, he was the definition of winning. But his memoir reveals a life driven by a deep, relentless fear, the fear of being seen as weak. His need to please and perform became a cage. In his own words, "I've achieved everything I ever wanted, and it left me utterly alone." His awakening came not through more wins, but through public and private breakdowns. He learned that invulnerability was not a strength, but a barrier to a true life. While Smith was trapped by the need for perfection, Brad Pitt found himself running from the silence. For decades, he was the icon of cool desirability. Yet he later admitted he was boozing too much, using substances to run from the deafening quiet inside. And how many of us do the same, just with different tools? Our phones? Non-stop work? Endless scrolling to numb the silence? His pursuit of the perfect life left him feeling hollow. It wasn't until he got sober that he found what he was looking for. "I think joy's been a newer discovery," he said. And that joy didn't come from the red carpet. It came from slowing down, from working with his hands, from rediscovering simplicity. It's a lesson the next generation of superstars would have to learn in an even more brutal way. For those who grew up inside the machine, the spotlight wasn't just bright, it was scorching. Justin Bieber had it all before he could legally drink. He later said, "I had all the money, all the cars, all the success, and I was still empty." The pressure led to a public breakdown, fueled by anxiety and depression. Lady Gaga, a titan of performance, confessed that the pressure to be Gaga led to chronic pain and PTSD. "I had a breakdown," she admitted. "I was not okay." For Megan Fox, the pain was different. She was reduced to her image, sexualized to a point where it fractured her sense of self. "I have body dysmorphia," she revealed. "I don't ever see myself the way other people see me." A feeling amplified by fame, but born from a culture that teaches many of us to see ourselves as objects to be fixed. Three different artists, one shared truth: the image the world consumes can poison the person within. Of course, not every successful person is miserable. But when even the world's #1 coach for success admits the game is flawed, we have to listen. Tony Robbins is a symbol of boundless power. But he's spoken openly about his own periods of deep doubt and collapse. He admits that early in his career, his drive to fix others was an attempt to fix himself. He learned that true power isn't about control, it's about surrender. That external achievement without inner peace is just a golden cage. But is there another way? A way to navigate fame and fortune without being consumed by it? One figure seems to offer a different path. Keanu Reeves is Hollywood's enigma. He has faced unimaginable tragedy, the loss of his child, his partner, and his best friend. Yet he moves through the world with a quiet humility that feels radical. He secretly donates millions. He forgoes luxury. He speaks with simple, profound wisdom. When asked what happens when we die, he replied, "I know that the ones who love us will miss us." His life is a living answer to the question, what if presence is more powerful than performance? Keanu's path shows that it's possible to survive the machine. But his grace makes the next stories even more heartbreaking. Because not everyone makes it out. Tim Bergling, known as Avicii, was a musical prodigy. He created sounds that defined an era of joy for millions. But behind the euphoric drops, he was in a free fall. He was a shy introvert forced into the life of a relentless extrovert, playing over 800 shows in just a few years. His body gave out. His spirit was crushed. In his own documentary, we hear him trying to stop, telling his team the stress and touring will kill him. He was ignored. In 2018, at just 28 years old, he took his own life. Avicii's silent scream echoes the pain we heard in the voices of other icons. Chester Bennington of Linkin Park. Chris Cornell of Soundgarden. Kurt Cobain of Nirvana. Their music gave a voice to a generation's pain precisely because it was their pain. They had the success, the adoration, the families. But the inner war was too loud. These men weren't weak. They were sensitive souls in a world that rewards numbness. Their deaths weren't failures, they were alarms. The final, desperate warnings. And we would be fools not to listen. These stories are heavy. And it's okay to feel their weight. But their warnings are not meant to leave us in despair. They are an invitation to look deeper. To truly honor their memory, we must understand the root of this pain. So why does this happen? Why do those who win the game of life feel like they've lost? Because the game is rigged. We are taught from birth that happiness comes from outside, from applause, from wealth, from validation. This is the ego's great lie. The more we get, the more the ego needs. It's a hunger that can't be filled. It's not just unsustainable. It's backwards. No amount of more will ever satisfy the part of you that longs for peace. True peace begins where the performance ends. It begins when you stop running and finally sit with the ache. When you look inside and ask, who am I without the titles, the money, the followers? This is the path these artists eventually found, or were searching for. For Brad Pitt, it was the quiet focus of sculpting. For Justin Bieber, it was rediscovering faith and genuine connection. For Keanu, it's in his daily acts of humility. The truth is simple, happiness is not found. It's uncovered. It was never lost, only buried, beneath fear, image, and noise. You don't need to be rich or famous to learn this. You just need to stop, listen, and come home to yourself. The ones who had it all are telling you, this isn't it, maybe it's time to listen. The life you're craving isn't out there. It's already here. Beneath the thoughts, the striving, the roles you play. This isn't about giving up on your dreams. It's about not letting them become your God. Because you are already whole. Already enough. Already home. Let the silence teach you what the world never could. My name is Duarte, thank you for watching until the end. If this video resonated with you, consider subscribing and walking this path of awareness with me.